This is A-Game. Fast acting, long lasting, with no side effects.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. I want to wish everybody a happy new year for 2022. Before we get into it, so what are we talking about? We are talking about how Black women are the actual threats, the real threats in these so-called toxic relationships. It's not always 100% victimization. What I'm going to show you is a video that's been going around. So I'm going to just go ahead and show that to you, and then I'm going to get back with my perspective. So let me go ahead, share my screen.
This in front of the kids. It's not right. It's not right, Leon. Leon, please don't do that. You're gonna break my stuff. Please don't do that. Just leave it up, Leon. Please. I'm asking you nicely. I'm asking you nicely. I'm not using vulgar language. I'm asking you nicely. Please don't provoke me because you keep doing it. Lord, please. Leon, please don't. You're Leon. The kids. Leon, you just broke this off the hedges too. You broke that off the edges though. That's very vulgar. That's a temper. Come on, I don't want to touch you. I never touch you. I never bother you. I wasn't touching you just now. Leon, I can't. When you put your hand on me and try to provoke Leon, you even said I got you on tape saying you provoked me. Don't do that, Leon. Don't do that. This is why I can't come back here. I can't. You're not going to because of the type of person you are. You scare me. You scare me.
Hurry up and get out there.
You scare me.
Hurry up and get out.
And you scare my kids. No, I'm gonna get out. When you give me a bump, I'm gonna get out. I don't give a damn how you feel, man. You scare me when my kids are here. You do this all the time. You do it with Destiny and Isaiah. You do it with everybody else. There's no forgiving that. You just took the door off the hinges. I have other video of you being very destructive. I'm protecting myself and my kids. I don't care if I gotta get a lawyer out here to show what you do to me. That's what you do. Look at this over off the hinges. While I'm in the room, I got the whole thing of you talking about ass. This is what ass does to you. You got 3 kids that's in there. This is 3 kids in there. You don't do that in front of kids. You don't do that in front of kids. No, I'm not getting riled up because I'm not going to let you do that to me. You're not going to destroy nothing I have. You're not going to destroy nothing I have. Kids are here, Leon. Stop doing that. I'm trying to get my stuff. Kids are here. Please stop doing it. There are kids that are here.
Okay. So I know it was a tad bit long, but you can see that video. Now, on first glance, this woman is a victim of DV. Okay. On first glance, she's afraid. The man seems like he's went on a tirade. He even produces a gun at one point. And she's talking about the children are scared and she's scared. That's on first glance. But if you watch that video and you actually listen to that video, that's not what's really happening. She's reporting it like that's what's happening, but that's not what's really happening. See, we have to start looking at things a little bit more critically, right? Because when a person is a victim, they're a victim, whether they're men or women, right? And so you don't try to make the victim out to be the aggressor if that's not what's happening. But you have to actually listen to what both of them are saying and listen and just take a look at the actions that's going on in this video. So apparently this is not the first time that they have fought, that they have argued, that things have been torn up in the house and things of that nature. It looked like a whirlwind came to begin with. I'm trying to figure out where the furniture is at. If she lives there as a woman, but that might be a separate thing, like where's the decor and furniture. But anyway, beyond that, it looks like a whirlwind blew through there. It's clothes everywhere, stuff over there, everywhere, and you assume that it's because they've been fighting. And having grown up in a household with that kind of fighting, that was an all-day fight. That was an all-day, off and on. We about to argue. This, I ain't done. Let me come back in there and say something. Now I got something to say. Let me say something. It was one of them all day. We moved some furniture around earlier. Now we kind of simmering down, but it's still simmering though. And we not quite done with each other. We might get into another humbug if one of us don't be quiet, but the other one not gonna be quiet. Like that. That's what that was. I know the energy. Grew up in that energy. I know exactly what the energy is. So she's got her phone and she's following this man around his home, pointing out the different things that was torn up. But if you listen to what she's saying and you listen to what he's saying, it really looked like she's antagonizing this man. That's the reality. She's walking around antagonizing him. See, that's the threat. It just seems like I said, on first glance, she's the victim, but not really. When you think about it, when you look at it, when you listen actively and not just go off of, the usual things of how we see men and women in these situations. We're trained to see women as the victim and men as the aggressor no matter what, right? But he said, you're going to stop putting your hands on me. And then she said out of her mouth, don't provoke me. Stop provoking me. Stop provoking you to what? Provoking you how? Provoking you in what way? Provoking you before you stop doing what I'm doing, before you do what? Exactly. Before you fight again, before you hit me again, before we get into a tussle again. Like, what are you saying? They're talking about her being provoked, not him. If you listen, he's talking about it's self-defense. You hit me. Like you be hitting me. That's what he's talking about. So instead of begging him not to act a certain way, she actually should be leaving or already gone if this man is the aggressor. If he's the one that scares her. If she was as scared as she claimed to be, why are you in this man's face talking about what he does wrong and how you can't take it and this, that, and the third, even after this man go get his rifle? You should have been booking it out of there. But instead, you got this phone in this man's face and you're trying to have a heated, hostile conversation with him about how he do this with everybody and his kids. If it's kids in there, why are you there? If it's kids in a house with a man that's supposedly violent enough to have torn things off the hinges and, going to get weapons and this, that, and the third, why are you even there to even see him get a weapon? I would be so long gone out of that place. But when you're the threat, you don't leave. You don't get the heck out of Dodge. You see what I'm saying? You don't get out of there. You don't leave. You stay in order to be the threat that you being. Like I said, that was an all-day fight. If it was kids in there, they was quiet, and they probably know to be quiet when y'all do this because y'all do this often. When I was a child in that situation, we knew to be quiet. We got very quiet. We hid like in our rooms because the energy was so horrible and it was so scary that we would hide out in our rooms and we wouldn't come out for hours and hours and hours. So if there were children and they were quiet, that's because that's always going on in that house. But if that's always going on and she's talking about, well, you know, saying this is what you do to me, why are you there? Because it seems like he's trying to get her to leave. Okay? And she doesn't leave because, again, they're talking about provoking her, not provoking him. He never said, well, you provoked me. Or she's saying, I'm trying not to provoke you. No. All that provocation talk is for her. That tells me she's the one with the temper. And she sticks around and has these fights with him, right? He pulls a gun and you don't run. You don't leave. You don't scream. You don't run. You don't gather your children and leave. So here's the other side of that. Y'all be purposely raising these kids and having these kids in these types of environments that are toxic. Because that's toxic. All of that fighting like that, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's one of the craziest environments you can have children in because it runs them crazy. Like I said, I lived it, and I'm pretty sure there are people listening to me in my audience that lived it as a child, unfortunately. And it makes you crazy. It makes you don't know what's going on. You really don't. You really can't decipher any of that stuff. You just know it feels horrible and you want it to stop. That's all that you know as a child. Even an older child doesn't quite know what to do with that energy because it's so toxic, because they can't control it, because they can't get away from it. So you purposely raising children in toxic situations, and then you want to be victims of the situation. And she's saying they're my kids. Even when you're there with the father, they say my kids. But it kind of almost seems like they may not have been his kids, not sure. So if she was truly scared and he was the aggressor, she wouldn't be filming and talking and waving her hands in that man's face. Talking about some don't provoke her. See, we got to listen and not just take in the first images and our first emotional reaction to that. Got to start listening to what's going on. These women actually are telling on themselves a lot. They're telling on themselves. The entire video is a gaslight. That's what I'm trying to point out. Because we'll obviously think on first sight that the man is the abuser. Because he's the man. And because of how we view, again, men and women in these situations. The woman is always what? The victim. The man is always what? The aggressor. Him going to get a weapon will further that impression as you watch the video. But he kept saying, it's my house. It's my house. I get the impression from that he been trying to make her leave. And she won't. Because he's like, leave then. Leave then. Leave then. And I'm trying to figure out as I watch the video, why aren't you leaving? Talking about I'm getting my stuff. I didn't see her gathering nothing. Because when you getting your stuff, when you really getting your stuff, you ain't got time to be holding no phone. I'm getting my things and I am out of here. I'm gone. Point blank, period. Even when he went to go and get the weapon, that seemed more like a scare tactic than it was his intent to actually hurt her with it. It was like he was just trying to scare her with it. Like, get away from me. You gotta leave type situation. And she's not leaving. It almost seemed like a setup. I'm just gonna put it out there. It seemed like a setup to me. It seemed like they had been fighting and arguing and stuff like that. And it wasn't quite going the way that she wanted to go. He wasn't quite behaving or reacting the way that she needed him to in order to really call the police like that. So this video will help, quote unquote, bolster any story or anything when she called police. It seemed like she trying to get that guy locked up or whatever. That's just what it seemed like to me. It seemed like setup. It seemed funny. Something didn't smell funny. Something didn't smell right with that video. Don't provoke her. Right. Provoke you. Again, I ask, provoke you to do what? Sound off in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host of Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.